Hello and welcome to the No Balls Podcast. I'm your host, Patrick McDonald, with me co-host Sheldon Kaufman. Today, we are doing our NBA trade deadline recap. This was an awesome trade deadline, kind of unexpected. We kind of hinted at it being a probably disappointing deadline, and then, well, here we are. So first, we're going to do the immaculate grid for the NBA here. Okay, it's the Warriors at the
Oh,
bottom.
sorry.
Okay,
Yeah, my bad.
yeah.
I got you.
If you don't know, I'm filling out the immaculate grid. So first one that I see, Dillon Brooks is the obvious layup answer for Suns Grizzlies. Steven Adams has never played for the Suns, but that's a possibility. Grizzlies Clippers. That's actually, why is that an underrated, stump you one? Why is nothing coming? There's nothing coming to my head right now. Oh my god. So for Hawks first round draft pick, this isn't too bad. I'm gonna go with AJ Griffin for that one.
AJ Griffin. All right, I like it.
Yeah.
He was 1 year.
Yeah, that AJ Griffin.
Wow, is that he retired, right? Like mad early.
Yeah, he retired very early into his NBA career. For Warriors, oh gosh, am I thinking? Isn't Epke Udo? Wasn't he a first round pick? I know Kevon Looney was. Bram Pajemski's the obvious one. Grizzlies first rounder, there could be some gems there. I'm gonna go with for Grizzlies, I'm gonna go with Hashim to beat.
Okay, so can we get a spelling on that one?
Tha, I think. Hashim to beat. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, here we are. Hey, 3%.
We're cooking.
This
okay.
is so far better start rarity wise.
Yeah, so Warriors. I want to say it was Epke Udo was, but was it Festus Ezeli? I think it was Festus Ezeli was the center that they took in 2010. Yeah, I'm gonna go with
2013.
Festus. Oh, okay. Maybe not. Maybe. Who was the other center? The other random 2010 center. Who ended up playing with the Hawks. And I'm assuming this means they have to be drafted by the
I have
team.
a good one.
Yeah.
A decent one.
Is it the one that I was describing that ended up playing? I don't know.
Oh wait.
I don't know if it was.
I don't know. Wait, don't listen to me. This guy was definitely our first round draft pick.
Okay. Warriors Clippers. I feel like there should be more answers than the ones. I'm gonna go with Sean Livingston. That's probably a little bit too easy, but I gotta get like an actual board this time.
Well, that's not 7%. Bad.
Yeah, well, not too bad. Did Aaron Baines ever play with the Warriors? Is the real question. I don't know if he did. For Hawks Suns, we're gonna go with Alex Len.
No, yeah.
Come on.
Nice.
Oh no! I needed more. Suns Grizzlies. I feel like there's definitely a better answer than Dillon Brooks. It's definitely a way better answer than Dillon Brooks. I would think. Maybe not.
I might have a sneaky one for Clippers Grizzlies. If you want to use your phone a friend.
Ooh, I didn't even think about my phone a friend last time. Yeah, yeah. Let me get one on that one. That's actually one that I
Did
don't
Zach
know if I have an
Randolph ever
answer.
play for the Clippers?
Oh, I don't think so.
No?
I don't know. Zach Randolph kind of bounced around a lot,
That's
though,
what I'm saying.
for a player as notable as he is. But I don't
Maybe we
think
can
he
keep
ever.
that on the back burner.
Yeah, I don't think he was ever a Clipper. Is the one thing. Now, I'm watching the Raptors game while I'm doing this, so this is not this is not helping me. Um, Suns versus Warriors. This is not the way to be thinking about this. Hawks Clippers. That's Luke Kennard for sure. Am I gonna lock in Luke Kennard?
Oh, I think that's sneaky.
Maybe it's more sneaky than I'm thinking it is. Yeah, yeah. Let's lock in Luke Kennard.
Yeah.
Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. Luke Kennard's sneakily played on a ton of teams. In a 10-year NBA career now. This is his 10th year, yeah. Um, yeah, Warriors. It's gonna kill me about whoever this center is. Jordan Poole was a first rounder. I feel like he would get guessed more than Looney, and Looney's definitely the safer answer. Um, they also in that time they selected Wiseman, Kuminga, Moody, Pajemski. 2022. Who did they take in 2022? 23. I don't remember if they took anybody in 23. I don't think they did. Uh, jeez. All right, I'm gonna go with Kevon Looney. I feel like that's probably
Looney.
yeah. Let's go
Oh,
with Big Loon.
wait. Wow.
Oh, that's
That's
it.
big.
What? Oh gosh. I didn't even have to go to the deep pool that I don't remember the name for, but let's go. That's awesome. Um, hmm. All right. Next time we do this, I have to put a timer on myself to try to because
You're good.
I could sit here for a while and eventually get like a really sick pull, right? But I
Yeah.
don't wanna make it last too long here. Um, I think the one part about Immaculate Grid is that people can play along and yell at me for the
Yeah.
obvious good answers. Um, Warrior Suns. For some reason, I'm not getting good answers for all of these. I could hit the Dylan Brooks layup for sure. But I don't know. I don't know. There's a better answer than Dylan Brooks for that one. I'm gonna go with Tyus Jones for that one. That's definitely better.
Yep.
Okay, not bad, not bad. Um, Warriors and Suns. Warriors and Suns. I'm gonna go with Marquise Chris on that one.
Right here.
Let me see the time on him. That looks right. Yeah.
Whoo.
Okay. And then Clippers and Grizzlies. This unfortunately feels like one that I might not get an answer for. How do I not?
I can't think of anyone.
Why can I not think of anybody here?
What about Rudy
And like,
Gay? Did Gay ever go to the Clippers? I don't think so.
I don't think Rudy Gay went to the Clippers. Um, yeah, he definitely did. Uh, Grizzlies. I'm trying to think of players who like played on, just like momentarily played on the Grizzlies. Like Luke Kennard, who's on here. Oh no, that would have been way better in that spot, right?
Damn.
Actually, yeah, that would have been way better in that spot. Um,
All right,
Let me
let's do
think
a
of more.
30-second countdown, Pat.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna go to the 10:30 mark. Hopefully, I can find a poll in my head. Um, Clippers. I need to think of Clippers then. Patrick Beverly, was he ever a Grizzly? Lou
No.
Williams, I don't remember him being a Grizzly. Montrezl Harrell wasn't a
Did you
Grizzly.
say Vince
Matt
Williams?
Barnes.
Matt
Matt
Barnes.
Barnes.
Dang, there we go. First immaculate of the season. Let's go. 43 rarity.
Oh,
Not too
wow.
shabby.
Dang.
I fucking told you.
Oh,
I
you
told
cooked.
you, bro. I
You
fucking
cooked.
knew it.
Yeah. Darn. Well, at least it was very common.
Yeah. All
So I
right.
was I was right to shy away, I
Let's
guess.
get into the good stuff now.
Yeah. Let's get into the point of this episode, which is the NBA trade deadline. I say trade too much, but the NBA trade deadline. Um, as you can see, Giannis Antetokounmpo will be talking about his massive trade that happened this deadline. First, let's talk about this is technically a bi-weekly recap, so I figured we could keep the storylines pretty like simple. And the Knicks and the Hornets are both on 8-game winning streaks, unless the Hornets have lost today since I
I
made
think
this
they're up.
graphic.
They're up 11, 13 on the Rockets
Oh,
in the
okay,
third.
yeah,
Into
they
the
are.
third.
Yes, and as the NBA wants me to not be able to watch the Hornets, so I'm not able to watch that game. But they have been both of these teams are on good, really big winning streaks. The Knicks had a double overtime win. Do you make anything big, substantial out of these recent win streaks from these two teams?
I mean, the Hornets have been really balling. Um, they've been doing a lot defensively too, which is something that we don't talk a lot about with this Hornets team. And I don't know, Pat. I think something's cooking. I mean, little trade deadline preview. They keep LaMelo Ball. They make some sneakily good trades, picking up a good guard from Chicago. And this team is a game out of the play-in, and this could be an 8 seed by the end of the season.
Yeah, for sure. And the big thing with me about Chicago, or not Chicago, Charlotte, is we talked about it. We were like, well, if they're going to have any path to being a really good team, it's going to be lighting it up offensively. And that's exactly what they've been doing. And I think the key part of it is LaMelo Ball has become a much more
Active.
uh,
Oh
yeah,
wait,
he's become more active and he's been less, you know, LaMelo Ball centric in the offense. In the month of January, his usage was down to 30%, which is really low for LaMelo Ball. And I know splits wise, his usage rate is a lot lower when he's paired with Concanipple and Brandon Miller. I think they have two of the most powerful offensive tools in the NBA with LaMelo Ball's passing ability and Concanipple's shooting ability, and their offense just looks really good. Kind of like how we called it out on an episode about a month ago that this is actually probably a good regular season team from this point on. And I've really liked what I've seen from LaMelo Ball, just getting off the ball more, playing team basketball a lot more, and the offensive results have certainly come during that stretch. On the Knicks side of things, Landry Shamet coming back has been huge for them. I don't know that he's missed any shots since he's come back. It feels like catch and shoot Landry Shamet corner three is
no dip.
it's the best thing that can happen for a team, it feels like. And Karl Anthony Towns has been terrible offensively during the streak. But I've really liked the improvements that he's made effort-wise, defensively. It looks like he is making a real effort not to commit stupid fouls all the time. And I would say those are my two takeaways. Yeah, do you got anything else on either of those two teams?
I mean, it looks like the Knicks have slowly started to figure it out, and I think, or not even figure it out, but steady that losing streak. And I think it's been Jalen Brunson has definitely helped out a lot, and like you said, Shamit's coming back has been good. He's hitting a lot of clutch threes for them. Anunoby's been having some good offensive games as long with the defense. Miles Bridges has been good. The defense just has been a little bit better, and I think that's what's definitely helped.
Yeah, over their winning streak, I think they have the best defensive rating. It is a very short sample size, obviously, but that's huge when that's going to happen for them because they're going to be able to put up points. Also, on that same exact night as the Knicks Nuggets game, my favorite game all season happened with the OKC Thunder against the San Antonio Spurs. The Thunder, who we made basically 30 minutes of us talking about how they couldn't beat the Spurs, and they go into a game last night with 8 players eligible, and the best one of them is Cason Wallace, right? No Shea, no Caruso, no Jalen Williams, no Chet, no Hartenstein. I don't think AJ Mitchell was ruled out. Like they were up against it last night, and it was Kenny Hustle going to war. And I think this is the perfect basketball game. I wouldn't put it on a small, like a new fan onto this game because there was a lot of weird things going on schematically with this game. Did you watch this game?
No.
I was thinking like it was on national
reasons,
television.
Well,
Yeah.
all the reasons you just mentioned. I saw Shea was out. I was like, I'm good off that.
Yeah, so Knicks Nuggets obviously went into double overtime, so the first quarter was already done by the time the other game was done. So I sit in and I'm watching a little bit, and I see some interesting things going on where I keep saying the Hornets because LaMelo Ball's right there, and I'm thinking bad team, so Hornets, even though we're talking about how they're probably a good team. The Thunder are putting Jalen Williams, the center, on Stephon Castle and not even attempting to guard him from the 3-point line. Like it is like even when the ball gets swung to him, only thing Jalen Williams is doing is turning to look at him. And on the other side of the floor, the Spurs are doing the same exact thing with Brooks Barnhizer or Chris Youngblood or whatever two-way contract player is on the floor for the OKC Thunder. And it almost turns into a 3-point shootout. And the Thunder are in this game because they have all of these guys out there playing their absolute ass off. And it's led by Kenny Hustle, Kenrich Williams, and Jalen Williams, the center, like playing like Alperen Şengün at the top of the key. And it's just, I think it's probably my favorite basketball game all year. And it didn't end up mattering because San Antonio, towards the end of the game, Stephon Castle like made a ton of big plays on the defensive side of the floor and really forced his will getting close to the rim, shooting mid-range jump shots. Wemby missed 2 like alley-oops that were wide open in transition, and then towards the end of the game he hits probably the toughest one out of all of them where he like it's an awesome game. I would recommend anybody to go watch that. Let's move forward because there's more to talk about. I didn't include the Gershon Yabusele trade. It was the only Knicks trade that happened. Do we want to touch briefly on that?
Well, you get the floor.
Gershon Yabusele was terrible this year. He showed up to camp 30 pounds overweight. He seems like a good dude, but it was very obvious they did not need him. They trade him, end up getting Jose Alvarado. They give up 2 extra second-round picks. And Deuce McBride, like right after that, gets announced that he's undergoing surgery for a sports hernia. So it did seem like they did need the extra piece with Jose Alvarado. It's somebody who I don't know if he can necessarily play in a playoff rotation, but he can certainly help you win regular season games the rest of the way. And we'll see what it's at least a defensive mindset who plays hard. So shout out to that deal. I mean, do you have anything else on it?
No, I mean I don't mind it. It gives you something different that you get from your guards. A little defense because McBride actually usually played good defense. I think this year or at least during that stretch, he kind of took a step back defensively. But Alvarado,
Yeah.
I think coming off the bench, I think he'll give you good minutes, and I think he'll give you like a good 10 minutes in a playoff game, maybe, just strictly off defense. But I don't know. I do like the move though, considering what happened, and I think McBride's supposed to be back around playoff time, so I think it's a good trade for them. And you really didn't give up anything, so
Just knowing as a Knicks fan that each of the last 2 years, Deuce McBride leads the team in net rating. Um, I mean, it is a big loss, and you're getting, another guy in Alvarado who's kind of just a short shooting guard that can mix in and play defense and hopefully hit open shots. I mean, it's a regular season replacement, and if it needs to carry over into the playoffs, you have it as well. We'll move forward to the less impressive trades. The first big blockbuster that happened is the Utah Jazz acquiring Jaren Jackson Jr., John Conchar, and Vince Williams from the Utah Jazz, getting in return Walter Clayton Jr., Kyle Anderson, Taylor Hendricks, George Niang, and 3 future picks. The Jock Lawndale ended up being rerouted to Atlanta later on. And on the side there, I have things that the team also did. Utah took on a couple guys. They took on Lonzo Ball. They got 2 future seconds for him. And I don't even know if they got a second-round pick for Chris Boucher, but they took on Chris Boucher's league minimum for the rest of the season. I'll quickly get an update on what those picks were, because it was a day ago and I don't remember. But what do you think about this deal for them, for both sides of this?
yeah. So I'll start on the Jazz side. I think it's a decent pickup. Like, I know there's a lot of. I mean, I've been seeing some stuff online with like who's going to play with Laurie and JJJ, who's going to play the 3. But I think this is similar to a trade that we'll talk about, I'm sure, at some point. And it's kind of like a play for the future. Walker Kessler out for the season. When you get Walker Kessler back, I think that slides a really good power forward in JJJ to that 4 spot. You can get that rebounding big in Walker Kessler, because while Jaren Jackson Jr. can play the 5 in spots, like in certain stretches, his rebounding struggles at sometimes, or doesn't struggle, but for a big man, you can't be getting, I think 5 boards, 6 boards a game. But I think it's really good. You get a defensive player of the year type of player. This is a guy that can do it on defense, and we've seen him take over games this year, honestly. I mean, against worse teams, maybe. But against the Magic in Berlin, I saw him go off, like, really good post work, and just gets to the basket really well. And I think gives you another option on offense. It fast tracks this rebuild for Utah, as Keontae George's breakout year, I think, definitely made this move possible for the Jazz. And now you're talking about a Jazz team who can win, get around that 8 seed, 9 seed, with the way that they have a lot of good pieces. Pat Walker Kessler's not even playing, and before he got hurt, he was playing some pretty good basketball. And then for the Grizzlies, I think Walter Clayton Jr. is a great pickup for them. The 3 future first round picks is also a huge thing. It's a great way to look into the future. And then you have, with the John Morant situation going on, with him most likely to leave in the near future, in free agency, you get Walter Clayton Jr., who has shown some good flashes at time, and it just hasn't really been able to crack the rotation in Utah. And then for Utah, you really give up the 3 first round picks, because all these guys you traded were not cracking your rotation at all, and were not getting a lot of minutes. So overall, I think that I like it from the Jazz a lot more than a lot of people do. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of like C pluses, B minuses. I think it's a pretty good trade though. Defensive player of the year guy, another option that can score. We saw him be a 3rd option in Memphis on those playoff teams for Memphis. Now I think he can be a serious 3rd option for Utah.
Yeah, they ended up doing pretty good in this deal. I think Memphis as well receives a huge trade exception in this deal that I will carry over into the offseason, which is going to be pretty interesting to see how they do that. 3 firsts for Jaren Jackson. I actually do. I think I have it in the reel I posted what the picks were, so I'll figure that out in a second. Walter Clayton Jr., I mean, it's a guy who I'm sure Memphis did a lot of scouting on last year when they traded in to the draft in the Desmond Bain trade around where Walter Clayton got picked. And I think there's some real upside for him. I would have liked it a lot more if John Morant would have also been moved because the point guard position would be wide open. Vince Williams can play a little bit, and we'll see if Utah has him in their long-term plans. How do you feel about Jaren, Lowry, and Kessler? Like, it feels okay, but I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. It feels very
It clogs
20.
it up a little bit. Let me see, because I feel like Markkanen at least has some ability to stretch the floor. You know what I mean? Walker Kessler, of
Yeah,
course.
and
I mean,
Jaren.
Walker Kessler, he's always going to be in the dunker spot, right? There's really nowhere else to put him. So I think the real clog up might be between Kessler and Jaren Jackson Jr. But I mean, I think it can work out because I feel like Jaren Jackson Jr.'s post game / getting driving game is really advanced. It's like Walker Kessler is like a one move type of guy. I feel like Jaren Jackson Jr. has a plethora of moves that he has in his bag, and I feel like they can work together. I think it might be a little clunky at first, but I feel like Lauri Markkanen. I'm trying to pull up his stats right now, but I feel like he'll be able to stretch that floor a little bit with Keontae or not Keontae, yeah, with Keontae and Ace Bailey. I don't know what this means for Ace Bailey. Maybe Ace Bailey's coming off the bench again next year. Right,
Yeah,
Pat?
that was the big part of this too. Is like now Ace Bailey, is he starting long term still? It's hard to really make out for them, but I don't really hate the front court as much as I was expecting to, especially with Jaren's ability to kind of guard every spot pretty well. Um, and they can definitely mix it around where they have two of each of those three guys on at one time. And they'll just generally be very big, but still have shooting out there at all times. And I think that is something that's going to be very valuable, especially in a Western Conference that has Nikola Jokic and Victor Wembanyama. Looking at it for Grizzlies too, the picks that they gave up were, one was a 27 Lakers pick, which could be something. One was a 2031 Suns pick, which is probably the gem here. And then one was the best of the Utah Jazz, Cleveland Cavaliers, and Grizzlies and Timberwolves pick for next season. So that's the full package. Honestly, I do really like this for both teams, and we kind of hinted that we thought Jaren would get moved to a team but be a sleeper trade asset, or it would go to a team that we're not necessarily thinking of.
We say
And
that?
that's basically what
I did
happened.
not remember them saying
In my mock trade, I did it to Indiana because I felt like it would be a team trying to get in now on Jaren Jackson Jr. And
that. What are your thoughts offensively? Do you tend to agree with what Ike said, or do you see it differently, or do you have more concerns?
I don't know. I think it should be fine.
We'll just have to
If
see.
anything, yeah, it's a lot of ball handling responsibility being put on Keontae George, especially like facilitating as well, where he's a fine facilitator, but there's going to be a lot of responsibility put on his hands. I'm sure they're going to have some idea of we're going to run this type of offense through Jaren a little bit more. And I think the good thing with Jaren is this is probably the first time that he's had like a plus offensive mind as his head coach. And Will Hardy's just, I would really trust that Jaren's going to get some of the best looks in his career. And I mean, we'll see. Maybe this is a bet on Jaren being more of an offensive player going forward, creation-wise. What do you think, finalizing their starting lineup long term? Like, what would you look for at that shooting guard position? Because you mentioned Ace Bailey in the mix of this, and I kind of don't think it can be Ace Bailey because I think they need a perimeter defender and someone who can also facilitate and handle the ball a little bit.
Pat, I agree 100%. I threw out Ace Bailey, and as soon as I said it, I was like, I don't think it can happen. But Honestly, I think you have two candidates. I wouldn't be too worried. Isaiah Collier has been balling out. Just had 22 assists, so there's your playmaking right there. I'm not too familiar about his defense, but I know that he can hoop and pass the ball. And then Pat, you got Bryce Sensabaugh, and that man can ball too, and he gives you the defensive aspect of it. I feel like so. I think you have two kind of guys that can fill in at that role. I don't hate I don't hate either of them. I kind of tend to lead towards Bryce, I would say. Um yeah.
I think they're both two guys, and I like the shout for both of them because Sensabaugh will give you the good scoring and shooting ability. I think both of them are a little lacking for what they're probably going to need defensively because they're going to need somebody to like pick up point of attack against Western Conference guards, and I mean
Are
maybe Ace Bailey
are
can do
are
that.
we thinking the Jazz are like that there yet, like where they can go into like a 7 game series and play against the best guards? I don't feel like I feel like they need that guy, that defender like that you're trying to talk about.
Mm,
I feel like right
yeah,
now this is going to be a fun team next year. This is going to team that's going to compete. That's probably going to be in a play-in, probably a little bit more, like maybe 7 seed. I I I see them just lacking a little bit of areas, just not there quite yet.
yeah, and I'm not sure how much Jaren's going to play for the rest of the season. Utah might. I mean, they do have the pick situation going to OKC, where if it's outside the top 8, OKC will get that pick.
Ooh.
Are they gonna push to just give OKC like the 14th pick or something like that? Like I'm not really sure what's gonna
Jackson's been
happen in
playing. I
there.
mean, he's not seriously injured.
Yeah, and like Jaren has been a historically fine health guy. Like he hasn't been great, hasn't been good. Um, so I don't know. I think this is good for both teams though. I just wish Memphis would have just completed the teardown, but it seems like that wasn't much of an option for them. You ready to move forward?
Yep.
We're now going to talk about the James Harden for Darius Garland swap. Cleveland, as you can see, that I have their other moves. We can prompt this, audible in on those whenever we want to. How do we feel about this from Cleveland's perspective? Is James Harden a upgrade right now over Darius Garland?
I think he's an upgrade health wise, and I think right now he's an upgrade play wise. I mean, James Harden is such a good ball handler. I mean, everyone's talking about him in the playoffs. Him in the playoffs. I don't care about that. This man can ball. And last year with the Clippers,
And
he
do you know
played.
why too?
Huh?
Garland doesn't play in the playoffs. Like no
Exactly. I
matter
mean,
what.
Pat, what did we talk about that whole time we covered the Cavs Pacers series? What did we talk about the whole time after the playoffs? The Cavs were just too injured during this run. Garland's too injured. Harden will show up for you. And Pat, this is an elite ball handler, and he can still score at a high level. And now, like when the Cavs win games, Mitchell has to drop 40 or 35, especially in the playoffs. Now you have a guy to ease that pressure of the ball handling. Like these are two guys that are okay if they don't have the ball in their hands at all times. These are two guys that can play off ball. These are two guys that can create for each other. I think James Harden was the perfect acquisition they needed. I actually love it a lot, especially for the Cavs. Um, and I think it'll open up a lot for Mobley too and Allen. Just a lot of big guys will have open opportunities whenever Harden starts to drive to that rim and there's a roller to the cup. Um, I think it's a really good move, Pat. I like it a lot. Like I said, the playmaking is going to help a lot. It relieves some of the load that Mitchell has to carry. Big pause, especially in the playoffs. And I think Harden will show up, and I really like it. I really like it. I think the Cavs now like have my attention. I think that this team is back. So yeah, I mean, look out for the Cavs. They're the 4th seed now, and they're just going to keep getting higher.
Why I really like it. I won't say I really like it because I think there's some undertones to this that I don't think people have quite realized yet. But James Harden has historically been an Iron Man outside of his fat suit Houston year and the year preceding that in Brooklyn because Kevin Durant is cursed. Outside of that, he's been an Iron Man throughout his career, even when everybody on the Clippers gets hurt because they're paying for their sins that Donald Sterling implied on the team. And then Harden also has proof of concept of working next to another small guard. He did it in Houston with Chris Paul. And I don't think it drastically changes their team build. And that's why I think it will be okay. James Harden's historically a guy who can kind of just go out there and ball no
He is the
matter.
system.
Yeah, I mean, he can just go out there and play, and he's very adaptable considering the reputation he has as a dribble my guy. When he plays with other talent, he's a great facilitator. He had the year with the Clippers where he got traded mid-season and just had them rolling when James Harden was playing a true point guard role. I like this maximizing this current Cleveland Cavaliers season because Harden is healthy and at least relative to Garland, he's going to be way more healthy, and he's probably a little bit better right now. I think the key there is that it is maximizing this season, and I think that is because Cleveland views this as their last season.
Their last chance with Mobley and Allen and Mitchell.
And they see with Tatum being out and the Pacers being down and about to come back with Darren Peterson, that after this season, especially since they don't think that they will be able to extend Donovan Mitchell, and they kind of do think that their roster building strategy is a little bit flawed, that this will be their last season with this core. They're going to retool in the offseason, probably trade Jarrett Allen. They were going to try to trade to get Darius Garland, but they needed to kind of do that now so they could get somebody they rely on in the playoffs. And they don't think they're going to be able to retain Donovan Mitchell. So I think he will also probably be traded in the offseason. And they're going to try to retool around Evan Mobley, and how they saw it. Darius Garland was going to be somebody who they would probably have had to look to move anyway. So they went ahead and did it for James Harden, who was signed for literally just this season. I think it makes perfect sense, honestly.
Yeah.
Do you got any other? I've been thinking about that one since this trade's happened.
What?
Because I don't think it was a coincidence that it was reported that they don't think they're going to be able to retain Donovan Mitchell.
No,
and
yeah.
Then right after
No. I think you literally were hitting the nail on the head. And when we came into the preseason video, Pat, we said this is Cleveland's year. They have to win this season because everyone's going to be gone. So I agree 100%. I think you nailed that, nail on the head. That was a perfect way to put it. Now let's talk about the Clippers side of it real fast. You have your franchise player going forward in Darius Garland, right? No laughing, Pat. This is serious, No, I'm playing. But, Kawhi Leonard's this whole team is very old. You bring in a 26-year-old guard who has showed that he can absolutely score. He is a dog on offense. The only problem is his availability. And I think you'll eventually get that fixed. I mean, they obviously see something. The doctors they know they'll get him right. I think Darius Garland's a great ball player, high volume scorer, great shooter, can get to the basket, pretty much score from anywhere he wants. When he was on the Cavs team, this Cavs team was the best team in the East when healthy. He was the reason that they when he was hurt, it hurt them a lot in the playoffs. So this guy can absolutely ball. I think it's great for the Clippers. You get a 26-year-old young prospect, not even a prospect, he's a proven player now already. So I think it's good. They have a future now.
He's a 25-year-old multi-time all-star who, if you would have told before Donovan Mitchell got here, you would have probably expected Darius Garland to have made an all-NBA team by now. But I think I wouldn't call it stunted development, but he just hasn't had the role where he is the sole person running an offense. And for the longest time, a lot of people have thought, out of all the people not running an offense by themselves, Darius Garland's probably one of the most qualified guys to do that. And the Clippers notably have one of the best and most funded medical staffs in the league. Might as well take a chance on that guy, because right now James Harden was obviously keeping afloat your terrible offense right now, but James Harden was going to leave this team, and you just basically got a young version of what James Harden currently is. I think it makes perfect sense from the Clippers' perspective. Either of those other Cleveland trades where they salary dump Lonzo
Yes,
Ball for
please, Pat. Let's talk about DeAndre Hunter and Keon Ellis. This is so good, and I think the fact that you got Keon Ellis is huge for your team because you get rid of Garland, but you bring in a great defensive player in Keon Ellis and a great shooter in Keon Ellis. So he gives you like a Walmart version of Garland. Obviously, not the production that he can score at, but I think Keon Ellis is a great offensive player. He's a really good shooter for them. Um, and the defense is very nice. So it doesn't hurt you that Harden at 36 is not the greatest defender. Davion or Donovan Mitchell also, but I think I really like Keon Ellis. Like I think that's a big add for them, and even Dennis Schroeder. He can make still, play a little defense, miss a lot of open threes. I think it's
yeah.
good. You get rid of Lonzo Ball, who has been very bad for you this season, and you bring in two guys that are already better than Lonzo Ball. It hurts to get rid of DeAndre Hunter, but I think getting Keon Ellis is a lot better than having DeAndre Hunter right now. And do you know if is Keon soon to hit free agency or?
Yeah, so Keon Ellis is hitting unrestricted free agency after this season. The Cavs
Okay.
will have his bird rights, but I think it will be a very limited number on what they can extend him
Yeah,
to.
so I mean, it's a perfect ad. You get a guy who's been balling out for the Kings for a long time now, and the Kings were good, and they were going to 7 games with Golden State. Keon Ellis was a big part of that, so I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think Keon Ellis, I don't even know if he was on those teams. It was really the last two
Really?
seasons
Oh shit.
in 2023, 24, and 24-5 where he was like a 42% three-point shooter and playing awesome defense. And I think now with Keon Ellis, you get the three-point shooting and defense that you wanted with Lonzo Ball. And then Dennis Schroeder's ability to handle the ball from that spot is something that you were also expecting to get from Lonzo Ball. And now you get rid of DeAndre, Jordan Clarkson, Hunter. I mean,
Sweet.
do the Kings, do they have an addiction to bad players making more money than they deserve? Um,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
I don't
say
know if
DeAndre
you're
Hunter's
that
a bad
correct.
player, but like, should we ban the Kings from trading for players?
They just take DeAndre Hunter, DeMar DeRozan, and Zach LaVine is a crazy lineup.
It's like Dennis Schroeder, like that was their doing. Oh, I mean, the Kings are just what a team. I'm glad they have DeAndre Hunter. That's great for them. They can now have him guard your team center because Doug Christie just does whatever he wants to out there. Um, yeah, I don't know. DeAndre Hunter is a very Kings player. That's. Do we want to talk any more about the Kings like completely fumbling the Keon Ellis market, or I think it's
I think,
overstated how bad they fumbled it.
yeah, I think we.
They used Keon Ellis as a way to dump Dennis Schroeder's contract. And so, if you're not watching or if you're only on the audio, Sheldon is clapping because we are now seeing the Anthony Davis trade. And as you can see, Luca in the bottom there, he's laughing from Crypto Arena because the Dallas Mavericks have turned Luka Doncic into not Jaden Hardy. Or actually, it isn't Malachi Branham. It is Tyus Jones, I believe, right?
Oh yeah, because they just traded Branham.
Yeah, Tyus Jones, AJ Johnson, Chris Middleton, and 3 first-round picks and 3 second-rounders. And Marvin Bagley. Let's not leave Marvin Bagley out of there. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Marvin Bagley did get drafted before Luka Doncic for a reason. It's because he is clearly way better at basketball. Yeah, I mean, do you go ahead as resident Wizards
I mean,
fan?
this was crazy trade out of left field. Wasn't expecting this at all. I thought, made a couple calls to Sabonis. The Kings weren't liking what we were trying to give them. I thought Sabonis was the guy we were going after. I sit down in class, open the computer up, see we got freaking Anthony Davis. I was extremely excited, even though I've been critical on his availability in the past. But I mean, what did you give up if you're the Wizards to take a chance on this guy? Pretty much nothing. You've taken a big contract though. But Chris Middleton, probably the only guy that was actually getting minutes on that team besides Bagley. And Bagley was a good rebounder, mentor, had a couple games where he scored a bunch of points, but gave up 2 first-round picks that weren't even ours, which I think is a big thing. But AJ Johnson, Branham weren't really cracking the rotation that much. Oh, excuse me. Jaden Hardy, I think, is a little underrated aspect of this trade too. Really good shooter. But I mean, Anthony Davis, man, this is huge for the Wizards. I mean, this is one of the best big men in the league when healthy. 20-point per game scorer, 11 rebounds. I mean, absolute unit, can shoot the ball from 3, gets down and dirty in the post. And this helps so much with Trae Young. Not offensively, Pat, defensively. And helps with Trae Johnson defensively. It helps you put out those small guards that absolutely shoot it like our snipers from 3. And you surround them now with Anthony Davis and Alex Sarr, 2 of the best shot blockers and rim defenders in the league. You can do a similar thing with what the Spurs do with Wemby, except you have two guys instead of one big one. I mean, Wemby kind of counts for 2, but still. You let him, you can just funnel him into the paint, and then you can't get shots up. Like, those guys are going to go into the paint and dribble it right back out. I think it's really good for the Wizards, and it's like the perfect team that you kind of want to build around Trae Young. I think now that I don't even know if Koulibaly's going to start. I'd rather have Keyshawn George start over Koulibaly, because I think Keyshawn George still gives you really good defense, but the scoring is like levels ahead, right? But I think AD is huge for the future. It obviously probably not going to play this year with Trae Young. We go and get a Darren Peterson, a Caleb Wilson, AJ DeBansta, and this is not a bad team at all. That's the first time you can say that for the Wizards. I think the last time we were over 500 was like 7 years ago. So, next year's, I'm very excited. I think this is a huge trade and maybe franchise altering if AD can stay healthy.
This is unironically an awesome trade for the Washington Wizards, and I didn't really think I would be saying that at first when I heard they were getting Anthony Davis, but the picks they're giving up, the 30th pick in this upcoming draft via the OKC Thunder, it's something, but the Wizards sneakily have a lot of investment in most of the players on their team, so it's going to build a Thunder and this sounds nasty, roster crunch where it's like, okay, well, we're going to have to cut somebody we have some investment in to actually make this pick later down the road. And I think using that to get Anthony Davis is fine. And the other one is a protected Warriors 2031 pick from the Jordan Poole Chris Paul trade. So all of those things considered, I think those are the main pieces you gave up here. You didn't even give up any of your young players that have some promise. AJ Johnson's terrible. I hate to dog on the guy, but Keyshawn George, if they would have given up him, that would have been something significant to me. If it was Bilal, that would have still been something significant, even if I think he's got a lot of improvement to still do. Trae Johnson's still there. Bub Carrington, who's a sharpshooter, still there. They did pretty good in this. And now they just get Anthony Davis. Will Dawkins has done the thing that OKC did all the time, which was buy low on veterans with incredibly low stock for almost no reason, and they'll probably rebound his value and end up flipping him in a year. Or Trae Young and Anthony Davis with shooters and defenders sounds pretty good and might be able to compete in a weak Eastern Conference next season. And consider this, Anthony Davis and Alex Sarr, neither of them want to play the center position. You can just tell each of them that the other one's playing center. You can lie to both of them and hope that they don't talk about it.
I mean, yeah, unfortunately, I think I've seen that Alex Sarr is probably going to play. They view Alex Sarr more as a 4. But I mean, they're pretty much the same. They're playing both. They're both playing power forward. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I feel like you can scheme it that way.
Now, this team can end up being pretty good here really soon. My one concern is D'Angelo Russell and Trae Young mentoring Trae Johnson is basically securing that he'll never shoot layups. It's only going to be
floaters.
and pull up mid
Hey,
ranges.
at least he knows how to do that. And D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Davis might just be a package deal like anywhere.
Actually, what the bright side to look at it is they can both teach Bub Carrington how to be good despite never being able to get to the rim,
Yeah.
and that's the bright side to it. The other players thrown into this don't matter too much in my opinion. I would assume Exum probably gets bought out. Hardy will probably stick around as like a shooter, and they can probably flip him for a second round pick or like a trade up in the draft or something. Yeah, I think it's a great trade for them. Honestly, it's great objectively from Dallas's perspective. You get the capital, I guess. You'll be able to make a late first round pick in this year's draft, I guess.
Pat, what's more shocking? That AD got traded to the Wizards or that Najee Marshall stayed on the team?
Najee Marshall. I don't know why they didn't sell high on Najee Marshall. If you could have got a like protected first round pick from Najee Marshall or like two like enticing pick swaps for Najee Marshall, like you should have done that. I don't know.
And there's no way like there was no team offering that.
100%, like half of the teams in the league probably wanted Najee Marshall. Yeah, I don't know. This is great trade objectively. Yeah, let's move forward because we're gonna. And this is what really kind of got me a little blood boiling because the OKC Thunder traded a late first round pick in this year's draft, the Rockets pick, and 3 second round picks for Jared McCain. And this was primarily for Philly to duck the tax. OKC also ended up basically getting Miles Plumlee in this deal. I think they flipped one of the picks to Charlotte for Miles Plumlee. And the OKC Thunder also acquired the Clippers, blowing up their team, and the Utah Jazz making win now moves, and they own both of those picks under certain conditions. What is going on right now? Come on. How do they keep getting away with this?
This is messed up.
The one thing they needed was a shooter, and they get Jared McCain. And he's going to fit in great there. That him and Jalen Williams, they're going to make a TikTok together. They're going to dance around. Shea's going to be like, I used to do that.
This
Not
like
anymore. I'm MVP man now.
this like might sneakily be the like best addition. I don't know how to word this, but like I feel like this made the Thunder like the best out of all the teams. If that makes any sense. Like I think this acquisition is like just the thing that the Thunder needed, and now
Yes.
it just makes them at a higher. I think it upgraded them the most. I'll say that like from where they were at a roster at a team standpoint, and now like you get Jared McCain, who this year, yeah, he only had 6.8 points per game, but he's taking like half the field goals and 3-pointers that he took in his rookie year. When
He's
you have
21 years old.
yeah, I mean,
And
VJ
averaged
Edgecombe
17 in
and
his
Quentin
rookie year.
Grimes, like those are guys that are obviously going to play like over you, you know. I think that this is huge for the Thunder, and like you've been struggling so bad with the shooting, like Lou Dort, Caruso at some points. Like this is huge. This is a 38% shooter. Like this is a good shooter.
Just think about it. If they were making that selection with the Houston pick, they would have probably targeted somebody like Jared McCain. Now they just get Jared McCain. And they can probably feel comfortable about losing Lou Dort in the offseason. This is a great trade for OKC, and I can't believe that every team like basically signed off on this because I think the Hornets and the Bulls were also looped into this trade under certain conditions. So the Hornets, Bulls, 76ers, Jazz, and Clippers all just signed off on OKC continuing their hoarding of everything that's valuable in the league. We now have the Warrior slide. They have acquired Kristaps Porzingis. In return, they send Jonathan Kuminga and Buddy Hield. They also trade Trace Jackson Davis for a second round pick to Toronto. And they talked about Giannis a lot.
Lots of reports about Giannis.
Yeah.
Am I okay, Pat? Because you're my go-to guy on some of these things. Is Malik Monk and like a second not better than getting fucking Kristaps Porzingis if you're the Warriors? Like a trade that we talked about
I don't think
before.
they could have done it anymore.
No, I know, but like when they rejected at the beginning of the season, like Kristaps Porzingis in theory is great for this team, right? Finally gives you a big that can stretch the floor, shoot, a rim protector. Like as good as Draymond is, like I Kristaps gives you a lot more because he's 7'3" with a crazy wingspan. The man has not played any basketball this season. Like he's been so injured, and this is a continuing run from the Celtics team last year too. I just it was so weird to me. If you're the Warriors though, the thing to look at, Kuminga was never gonna play for you, and Buddy Hield was not like playing at the Buddy Hield of last year and when he was on the Kings the year before that. So I don't think you gave up too much. I just don't really get it. Like I just don't. I just don't see Kristaps making a huge impact. 'Cause I don't see him playing a lot.
I actually like this trade for the Warriors.
Okay, all right.
Now, I think the process overall with Kuminga has been terrible because they should have just traded him for Malik Monk in a first-round pick. Like, I think everybody at the time was like, why are you not taking that? That makes no sense. But then Kuminga's value is completely shot. Like, it's terrible. He's 5 years into his career. Like, people now are like, yeah, he's just not a good player, right? I don't think they even like they would like Porzingis to play, of course, but I think this deal's fine for them even if he doesn't really play because they just dumped Buddy Hield's contract for like Jonathan Kuminga. Like that's objectively pretty fine. It clears up cap space for next season, and like Buddy Hield, it just wasn't gonna help this team. Porzingis is an expiring contract, and whatever you can get out of him is fine because Buddy Hield and Kuminga weren't giving you anything substantial anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, from Atlanta's perspective, I don't necessarily hate it either. Apparently, I don't know what their model says, but it really loves mediocre shooters because they targeted Corey Kispert in the Trae Young deal. Like, I don't know. Do you understand it from Atlanta's perspective? I don't think it's bad.
Well, yeah, I think. I mean, Buddy Hield, you get the shooter, mediocre shooting, yeah. But like taking the flyer on Kuminga, I think isn't bad at all. You can get him to learn from Jalen Johnson, who's an all-star this year, right, and had a breakout year last year. I think that's a great mentor for you. With Ricochet kind of not playing at the level they thought they would, maybe this is like a move to bring in Kuminga and be like, hey, can you play better than Ricochet? You know, and then you move Ricochet in the future. So I don't hate it. We'll have to see what happens. Like the spacing, I feel like is going to be okay. I feel like it's going to be okay. Do you think Kuminga comes off the bench? Right?
Yeah, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I'll just say this: how long have we known Jalen Johnson's a good player for?
True.
Like 3 years now.
Yeah.
Jonathan Kuminga was drafted in the same year as Jalen Johnson.
Yeah. I just I feel like there's still a lot of stuff we don't know about. Like we know a lot about Jalen Johnson. I feel like there's not a lot we know about Kuminga.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it. At the very least, I get it. I think
But like,
how
Pat,
they
if you
see
think
it.
about it, like you just mentioned it. These like the Warriors didn't really give up anything to get Kristaps Porzingis, and like for the Hawks, Porzingis wasn't really playing for them. So like, do you like?
Yeah,
It's
I
kind of like a
agree.
no risk trade, I guess I would say. So I feel like it's like yeah, there's quips and quarrels, but overall, like you didn't give up too much to get these guys, and there's a lot of high upside.
Yeah, and they just brought in Jock Londale to be like their backup center as well. So you
I
might
think
as well
yeah,
trade Porzingis. And what's interesting is this actually does give them flexibility for next year because they'll have Kuminga on a player or a team option for around $22 million. And Onsi Salah can cook, right? That guy can cook. He'll probably, if he's accepting that deal, he probably has some trade lined up to add on top of the great draft pick that they're about to get from the Pelicans. I'm believing in the vision for Monty Sala. Maybe not the vision, because I don't really see what the long-term plan is. It's obviously to build around Jalen Johnson, but I think that everything he's done has maintained flexibility for them, and I could see this one being like I could see Jonathan Kuminga being the Jalen Green piece in a Kevin Durant trade. You know what I mean? Where like it's just another big salary to throw into a deal to make things work. And then Buddy Hield as well too. Like it's another salary that they can trade for next season because they're not going to be a cap space team. Otherwise, this is the one time I mentioned Giannis. Do you want to talk about Giannis and Milwaukee's process this deadline?
It's just so hard trading like a player like that. You know, they were asking for like 6 first-round picks, which is, I mean, yeah, it's fucking Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? Like when you trade Giannis, you're gonna have to rebuild. They're probably asking for some key players for a lot of teams too. Um, I feel like the Heat maybe should have done something there, like realistically, because they didn't end up doing anything over the deadline. And I feel like they had guys that they could have traded along with the picks where I'd be like, okay, yeah, take them. The only problem is maybe the Heat, like, you trade away, like, when you trade, okay, so, like, you have to trade away, like, a Khalil Ware, a Jaime Jaquez, and a Tyler Hero, maybe, something like that. If you trade those guys, like, who's really around him? Who's going to be around
Yeah.
Giannis? You know, like, a bunch of, like, role players and not, like, elite role players like he had in Milwaukee.
Like how will Giannis and Bam fit together too? Like I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know.
So it's like Giannis and Bam are your two guys, and then like Davion Mitchell starting at the point, and then maybe Oscar, even Yakachonis maybe he's playing, or Pele Larson or Fontan Checchio. I didn't see it. I mean, I feel like
They'll get somebody from Spain
yeah
to make threes.
the Timberwolves had probably the best shot in my opinion, right? Um, they had guys that they could have moved, and their team still be fine because you still have Ant, and you'll still have DiVincenzo, and you have a lot of role players on that team that are good enough. But I like what the Wolves did this deadline, so I'm not really upset about it. I think for the Bucks, like that's the best way you go about it. You field all the offers you get, but you need the perfect one if you're going to make a generational trade like this. Because like, and also it could be a little bit of hesitancy because of what happened last year, a big trade that a big player like Luka and Giannis are on the same type of level, right? Both guys are MVP candidates every year. Um, and to see that go so badly, that could definitely be in the back of a lot of guys' minds. I'm perfectly fine with how Milwaukee handled it. I feel like I feel for Giannis though, because man, like he needs to get on a good team again and get rid of
Yeah,
Doc Rivers.
yeah, that's the bottom line right there. I think for me, I kind of understand why a Miami trade wouldn't make sense for them because Miami like they would trade Tyler Hero, right? But then like if you're Milwaukee, you then have to extend Tyler Hero, and I don't know. I don't think you want to lock yourself into that. And then Minnesota has no tradable first round picks. So
Yeah,
it's like literally like you have to move some of their other players to other teams. And I think if there was a Minnesota trade done, the only players not potentially on the move would be Anthony Edwards and DiVincenzo, like you mentioned, because I think they're great fits next to Giannis. And I think Ant and Giannis is probably a great matchup together because Giannis will handle the ball so much. So it doesn't matter that Anthony Edwards is playing point guard when he shouldn't be. But I really am like, I don't really know how good a Minnesota trade package would have ended up being for Giannis. The one that makes no sense to me is that the Warriors were the first team to be shut down because they made literally everybody except Steph available in the trades. And say what you want about Pajemski, but Pajemski's a good piece. Outside of Khalil Ware, is Pajemski probably the best young player that they were probably offered from those three teams? Like, probably, right? And
Not from
then,
Minnesota, bro.
yeah,
If
like,
if if Jalen McDaniels was on the line, he's way better than.
well, Jaden McDaniels is on his second deal already, so I wasn't
Oh,
really
oh,
including
wait, you
him.
said what, rookies?
Like young players. So
Oh,
I
okay,
mean,
then yeah, no, 100%, yeah. Jaquez, yeah, I would say he's better than Jaquez. Um, and I don't think the Timberwolves were giving anybody big up or young up, like you said, second deals or Gobert, Randall, who are way past that point. So yeah,
and
I
even their
agree.
young players like suck. So, and they got traded for like less, like not Giannis guys.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then like the Warriors were giving up Pajemski, who would have been an interesting piece. Kuminga was definitely going to go in the deal. Draymond might have gone in the deal. Jimmy Butler probably would have as well. And then you would have gotten every pick from Golden State, which out of all the teams to bet on, not things not working for, like Golden State after they completely stripped their roster for Giannis with a 31-year-old Giannis and Steph Curry, who's 37 right now, and Giannis is having calf issues consistently. Like, is that not the team that you take every single draft pick from in a Giannis trade? Like, I don't know why. I don't understand why the Warriors were shut down right away. They
Yeah,
were ready to make a thing that could have ended up like a Clippers 2.0 situation.
yeah.
Um, but Milwaukee just wasn't interested. I
Maybe
don't
Milwaukee
understand it.
was more interested in like players instead of picks.
But it got reported that their asking price was 6 first-round
Yeah,
picks
that's
still.
true. Yeah, that's true. I don't know, Pat. I, maybe maybe they spend too much time on NBA Twitter and they see all the pods hate.
That's NBA Instagram.
Instagram. Sorry.
Yeah. But I don't know. And they can probably extend these things into the offseason and still get similar packages. That's the one thing with the Bucks that I guess makes sense, right? That's enough Giannis. Everybody's heard enough about Giannis. This is one of the two bowl slides because they did a lot of stuff.
Wait, can we click on or is that like go to the next one real quick, or is there no point?
Yeah, so the next one too has the full
Okay,
Kobe White trade. It's got the
okay. So yeah, let's
ID.
start on the first one.
So Ayo Dosunmu, they shipped him to Minnesota. They got Dillingham in 3 seconds, I believe, in this deal. I don't know. Like,
Pat, is this not like the most Bulls deadline ever?
it's yeah, I think so. Yeah. No first round picks. All of their actually not great players who used to have trade value that they ruined the trade value for traded. Uh, how do we feel about the pickup from Minnesota?
I love it for Minnesota. Like out of like the point guards that are available, like even like I feel like taking a pick from Kobe White or Ao is really good. Um, he hasn't gotten a lot of like the keys to the offense in in Chicago just because of Kobe White playing. But I mean, he's averaging 15 points per game, 3 assists. This is a guy you can put next to
Holy,
Anthony Edwards,
I
6'4".
knew it
So
was good, but I didn't know it was this
yeah,
good this year.
yeah, I know, and that's without and that's on 26 minutes a game, which is his lowest of his career. Yeah, so like
Yeah,
out of this is his best season this year, Pat. He's shooting 45% from the three. He's taking 4.3 a game. Uh, this is exactly what you need, and now you don't have to have Dante DiVincenzo play the point guard position, or even so, you can have honestly, you probably keep Dante there. Ao coming off the bench as your point guard is way better than having like Dillingham or Bones Highland. Even though Bones Highland's been playing really good this season, Ao is definitely better. Um, I think that this gives you a legit like backup guard option. Like if you want to have DiVincenzo continue to play the point, this guy's gonna like give Minnesota a great attacking point guard. Like it's just something that Dillingham and hasn't been able to provide. Bones Highland hasn't really been able to provide at the level that I think that Ao is going to be able to. So I think it's a really great pickup for them, honestly.
yeah. And the thing about AO is every other year he has a good shooting year, and the year in between is always terrible. So you get him on the good shooting season, he'll shoot 31% from three next year, but he'll still actually be average efficiency wise because he gets to the line so much and gets a ton of rim attempts and is actually a good finisher at the rim for a guard. I would like to see, like, he could probably tap into a little bit more passing, average 4 assists a year ago for Chicago, and they've had a lot of facilitators in his time there. I like, it's at least another guy who could take pressure off Anthony Edwards. I think it's good. He can defend. Nice. Good job, Minnesota. 3 second-round picks for him. Actually isn't too bad. Rob Dillingham. I don't know. I was never high on Rob Dillingham. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Take
mean,
take
you
your
get 3
shot, I
seconds.
guess.
Yeah, so that's good. And then, like,
Yeah.
Dillingham's, you just pray to God he figures.
Yeah. You're gonna need a lot of prayers for that, I think. I mean, if the proof of concept is there with Bones Highland, that these small guards that are good at absolutely nothing early in their career can eventually become good. Kobe White trade. Do we want to talk about them getting Yushmang Jang or Gershani Abusele?
I mean, if we can, like, but very shortly, Pat. This shouldn't be too long-winded. For me, it's like you brought in a shit ton of guards, and you fill your wing position with like really sub tier guys and Dang and Yabu. So like now you have like, and then you get rid of Dalen Terry. So like Matus Sabelis is the future. Is that what we're doing? Like
Well, yeah,
Patrick Williams. I like you get a lot of guard. Not Patrick Williams being the future. I was just naming Patrick Williams is another wing that they
yeah.
have.
Well, we always joke about them loving terrible wings, and now they got Ushmang Jang. So
Yeah.
like, he just
So but they got so many guards now. Like it's such a weird room, and like to get those guards, they really just traded guards and a couple wing guys. So I don't know. It's really weird, Pat. I feel like I don't really know like what the Bulls' direction was this trade deadline. Um, like Isaac Okoro, like that's kind of like Matis and Isaac Okoro are now your wings, unless I'm mistaken. like
yeah. I think you called me when DeAndre Hunter got traded, and you were surprised. I'm surprised the Bulls didn't trade for DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah, that would have at least made some sense. Give you offense.
They probably think DeAndre Hunter is an all-star, like in Chicago.
Yeah,
They love guys like Dalen Terry and
All Star, All
uh,
NBA.
Ousmane Dieng. Like, the Vooch trade, we can talk about it from Boston's perspective and Chicago's. You get a second rounder for Vooch. Nice job. Simons, he's going to expire here, and nice, I guess. That's basically all it is for Simons. Second rounder for Vooch, I guess, is fine. Um, do you have anything else on that from Chicago's perspective? I think that's basically it. Boston, though, I like it for Boston because I think it's exactly what they needed. I see all of the mock lineups now, and Vooch will not start for them. There's no way. The Mays kid has been way too good for them to start Vooch, but Vooch now gives them a floor spacer who has played playoff basketball before. He's played on good teams before, and he's going to be a good bench center for them. Whether or not Tatum comes back, I think is still the X factor for Boston, but it was your opportunity cost was a second round pick, and Boston did a couple other things that we'll touch on at the very end here. I think this was a good trade for Boston.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really good trade for Boston. Like you get that. I mean, Joe Mazzulla is probably over the moon. You get a big that can really stretch the floor. Vooch has 4 game winners this year, so be ready in the playoffs. But you get a really good shooter. You get a guy that can score the ball. A guy that you can start over Keita, right? You know what I mean? Oh no, you think coming off the bench?
Yeah, Kata will definitely still start. Kata's
Really?
been way
Oh,
too good.
okay. I figured Vooch would start over Keita, and then like Keita would come in for. defensive moments. But even
No
so,
way.
this is like Brooke Lopez, like the god, like the Michael Jordan of Brooke Lopez is. You're gonna get a great shooter. No, you don't like that
I don't like that one. I think it's the Anthony Simons of Karl Anthony Towns is what it is.
one. Okay, I think that.
um,
Well, yeah, maybe I'm a little.
I think you're just gassing it a little bit. Not too much though.
I don't know. I think Vooch can really. I think he's good. It's a great addition. Like he's going to be able to shoot the ball from three and stretch the floor, which is like he'll probably be able to do it at a better rate that Al Horford did. We saw how effective that was last season. So
He's the Michael Jordan of Luka Garza's.
okay,
Yeah, I think that's accurate. Yeah, I think it's good for Boston. I would expect them to still start Cade. I think it's just like last when they acquired Simons and everybody was throwing Simons in the starting lineup, and it was like they're gonna start Pritchard. I think it's kind of gonna be the same thing. I don't know. I could be wrong, I guess. And we got more Chicago trades because they love making trades. Three-teamer here. Detroit received a first-round pick swap.
so many guards.
For Jaden Ivey. Mike Conley, he ended up on a bunch of different teams throughout this deadline. I actually don't. Did he end in Charlotte or did he get traded again?
I don't think he got traded again.
Okay, so he ended in Charlotte. Also in Charlotte is Kobe White. Oh yeah, okay. They got 3 second-round picks and Colin Sexton. So the Bulls have all these second-round picks. They're going to dominate the second round of the draft. And they got Colin Sexton for Kobe White, which nice, I guess. Mike Conley, I actually don't hate in Charlotte as like a veteran leader type of guy, so that's cool. Kobe White, I think, actually really fits what they do offensively, even more than Colin Sexton, so I'd like that pickup. And yeah, let's talk about the Kobe White trade first, and then we'll talk about
Yeah,
the
like it's
Ivy
a great
thing.
trade for the Hornets, and I don't really understand it for the Bulls. I mean, I guess you get a really good defensive guard, um, which isn't bad. Like Colin Sexton's had a really good year this year. Like, or not, he's not even a really good defensive guard. Like he's an pretty average defender, but like he's been able to score a little bit and play make. But like Kobe White is going to do great things in Charlotte. Like now you get a real offensive like threat. Another one like with LaMelo. Coming off the bench too. If he comes off the bench, I think that's going to be really scary to face. It makes the Hornets a really gross team this season, like we were just talking about at the beginning of the episode. Um, I think it's really great for the Hornets to pick him up. He'll probably be coming off the bench, Pat.
Yeah, I think he'll be
Okay.
just going into the Colin Sexton role, and why I really like him there is Kobe White's off the catch game is like excellent because he's a really good shooter and he's really quick off the bounce, but in like a normal ball handling setting, he sometimes just gets bumped off of his spots because he's not a super strong guy. And that's why he struggles to get to the rim, but off the catch situations when guys have to really respect his shot, he's a very effective getting to the rim. And I think he's going to get way more opportunities like that in Charlotte. And you saw how he played off of Josh Giddey in a similar way, but I think it'll be very juiced up now in Charlotte where like they are making guys make rotations all the time because of all the shooting that they put on the floor at one time. This is a very good move. Charles Lee, we talk about him being a Boston Celtic coach still, but just on the Hornets. He's going to love Kobe White. It's like when Charles Lee was still with Boston, it's like a way upgraded version of Peyton Pritchard. And yeah, I think it's a great fit, honestly. And they do have to trade, or not trade, but extend Kobe White, and maybe they do that. Like, I think it could be a great fit for them. And I actually don't think it will be too expensive. So, from Chicago's perspective, I actually don't hate it, though, because, a year ago they could have gotten first-round pick capital for Kobe White, but they waited too long because they always do that. So, at this point in time, 3 second round picks is fine for Kobe White. Ivy trade, I actually I like the buy low on Ivy for sure. Now you do have to pay Ivy after the season. That's the other reason why this deadline was strange, is Ivy, Simons, Sexton are all expiring contracts. And I don't know, maybe they see Ivy as just a long-term upgrade over Kobe White next to Josh Giddey. I would assume that's how they see it. And I don't even think that's that crazy of an idea.
No, he's like showed flashes before. Like we talked about Jay and Ivy just having a down year a little bit, coming back from injury. He had a really good start to the season last year. And he'll get more of a role in Chicago for sure. And I agree 100%. They're taking this as one of their young guys to build around Josh Giddey with, and he's certainly capable of doing it. Pat, this is another guy that his shots have been cut in half, like with Jared McCain. He's not taking as many field goals. He's not taking as many 3-pointers. So the numbers are down, but the efficiency's still there. Like, this is still a good shooter. So out of all the guards, I love this the best for the Bulls. And shit, they should have just done this and then traded for draft capital and some wings instead of going all out for the guards. And that's good. Like, you could have got this and then got DeAndre Hunter, and we're talking about this deadline a lot differently, I feel like, for the Bulls. But
yeah, I don't even know if I would have liked them getting DeAndre Hunter. I mean, I guess.
Would you like it better than what they have now?
Well, I like, getting all the second round picks that they did. I think they got
that
7 or 8 second round picks. Like, it's a decent deadline for Chicago, all things considered. But, like, Ivy is 1 year younger than Giddey versus Kobe White being 3 years older. Even though you do have to pay both of them, right? Like, Ivy's at least on the timeline of those guys. I don't know. I feel like they should have worked other things out with Colin Sexton and Anthony Simons, but I mean, at the worst case scenario, they just expire after this season. It's an okay deadline for Chicago. This is a nice one right here. The Ivica Zubac trade to the Indiana Pacers. I kind of thought the Pacers were going to get a center. I didn't think it was going to be Ivica Zubac. They trade their pick this season under the conditions that it is between the 5th pick and the 9th pick.
Wow.
And their 2031 unprotected first. Or I think it's 2029 unprotected first. And Benedict Mathurin and Isaiah Jackson. What do we think about this one?
Honestly, Pat, I like it for both teams. Like, for the Clippers to go out and get Benedict Mathurin, kind of like in that direction of rebuilding. Like, Garland and Mathurin are a great place to start. Two proven players. I feel like you can go forward with, and it adds a little bit of shooting around Kawhi Leonard, and some offensive weapons, and he can hold his own on defense at times. And then if you're the Pacers, you got a perfect guy to go with. Halliburton sets a lot of good screens, can roll to the basket, and pretty much do whatever he wants in the post. He's okay on defense. Had a breakout year last year. He's playing at a near all NBA level. I think that he can certainly get back to that. And I think it's a win-win here. Because I do like what Matthew. 14 and 11 from a center. You love that, shooting 61%. He's definitely one of them ones. He can go out and give you 10 and 10 every night. So great for the for the Pacers, and it's looking really good for them. And so if they're drafting 1 through 4, they'll be drafting. It'll be their pick. Yeah. So
and
if you
they somehow fall to 10 too, they'll get the pick again still.
Yeah. So you could end up getting one of the big names that we've been talking about: Peterson, DeBansta, Boozer, to fit with an art. This is a top seed Pacers team next season, I feel like. And they would have been a top seed team with without Zubac, just because Halliburton's coming back. Are you concerned at all with the Zubac Siakam fit at all, or do you think it'll be all?
The Knicks need to win the East this season. Zubac is a huge upgrade over the last season of Miles Turner. I don't think people realize how big of an upgrade that is from Turner to Zubac. With a good pick and roll passer in his career, Zubac is awesome. He's going to give them another post-up opportunity in the half court. That's going to be big for them. He's a better rim protector at this point in their careers than Miles Turner is. You can question if he moves as well as Miles Turner does, but he protects the rim better. He secures rebounds way better than Miles Turner. This is a huge upgrade for Indiana, and I don't want to dog on Miles Turner because he's not even on the team, but this is huge for them. I hope they fall to 5 in the draft lottery, because them getting the nightmare scenario was them having a Halliburton, Darren Peterson, Neesmith, Siakam, Zubac starting lineup. That's like a nightmare for the Knicks. I already didn't think we could beat them anyway in a playoff series, and now they just got Ivica Zubac, who might be better than Karl Anthony Towns. I'll just say that. This is a great trade for Indiana because they have the weird protection on the pick anyway. For the Clippers, I like it, honestly. Like you said, I like it for both sides. They get 2 firsts, and if the protection hits on this pick this season, then it becomes an unprotected 2031 pick. So 2 distant unprotected picks from Indiana for Zubac. That's objectively fine. And Benedict Mathurin, that's probably helps the Pacers because he has a tendency to just do some dumb stuff in the late stages of playoff games. And do you like the Benedict Mathurin swing for the Clippers? They do have to pay him.
Yeah, they have to pay him after this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Like I said, I think this is a good shooter, a guy that can get to the rim at a pretty elite rate. 17 points per game this season, best in his career. He's shooting 37% from the 3. I really like it. I think it gives you something to go forward with and build off on, and you definitely extend him for sure. I think Garland and Mathurin, like I said, is a great place to start. Like considering where a lot of teams have to start with their rebuilds.
Yeah, and you get the extra picks. It's a good deadline for the Clippers, honestly, all things considered. Now they are going to be giving the Thunder more picks, but it's whatever. Oh yeah, the biggest bag fumble of all time has been completed. Cam Thomas was away from the team. And this is complete speculation. I would assume it was because the team was trying to trade him, and Cam Thomas has a no trade clause, and he didn't want to waive the no trade clause that he was away from the team. And now he's going to be waived. And just for a reminder, he turned down 2 years, $30 million this offseason, took the $5 million qualifying offer for no reason, and it only is ever going to hurt his earning capabilities going forward. And now he's in this situation.
Is it a bigger bag fumble than Schroeder? Definitely.
Probably, because Dennis Schroeder, that was probably going to be his last big well, the Kings exist, I guess. But that should have been Dennis Schroeder's last big contract of his career. And Cam Thomas was going to guarantee himself $30 million and then still open up the possibility to be able to go out there and play for a deal that could be upwards of lot more money.
Yeah, he sold. I didn't know it was 30. I didn't know it was 30.
It was 30 total over 2 seasons.
Yeah, it's still.
Bag fumble. Or he was also given a 1-year, $12 million deal. Which is way better than what he did, because he still could have gotten.
He didn't want to get traded that bad.
Yeah, I guess. And even It's so. I talked about it for like 5 minutes in the Nets episode that we did preseason about how it was stupid for him and his earning capabilities. But this is the Hawks slide. They traded Vit Krejci for Dop Reef and 2 future seconds. I've not seen anything about this deal, but Atlanta needed some backup center play. Dop Reef is somewhat interesting. He can shoot the ball a little bit. 2 second-round picks. Vit Krejci's been a sharpshooter this season. I think Portland really needed that. I think this is a pretty win-win trade, especially considering they brought in Buddy Hield as well to balance out some of the shooting losses of him and Luke Kennard, who they got a second-round pick for and gave Vincent. What do you think about it?
Yeah, for the Lakers, like this is honestly a pretty decent deal. Obviously, not like the the rumors that we've been hearing about the Lakers getting, but like this is a really solid deal. Like getting Luke Kennard, who is a very consistent shooter throughout his career, for Gabe Vincent, who has not panned out since they signed him, and he also struggles at times with shooting the three ball. Um, it's just a great role player to have around Luka and LeBron. Free Krejci to the Portland Trailblazers. Give up 2 seconds pretty much. Duop Reith was out for the season. Veet's a great shooter, like you see there, 42% in shooting. Like he's a sharpshooter, and that's perfect when you have guys that drive to the rim at such great rates, like Denny Avdia, Shaden Sharp. These are guys that can get to the basket and pass it back out to Vit Krejci, who's going to splash it from three. So all around, a lot of good shooters getting moved.
Yeah, I think both make a lot of sense here, and yeah, Atlanta, they did a lot of stuff this deadline. Yeah, I was also not familiar with the Duop Reef season-ending energy. That stinks a little bit for them, but and then these are some of the finalizing things. The Celtics, Suns, 76ers, and Raptors all duck the tax. Chris Paul does not have an NBA team. He got traded to Toronto. He's going to get bought out. Tyus Jones got salary dumped to Charlotte. Charlotte got a second rounder for it. And Dylan Cardwell got a 4-year contract since they
Cardwell's not
traded.
bad. That might have been the Kings' best move. Cardwell's not bad at all.
Honestly, yeah. Like
He's a high energy big, play defense really well, get really good boards and finish at the rim. I like him.
he's like if Rashawn Holmes wasn't making $12 million for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Celtics, I think this is a great deadline because they upgraded their current roster and ducked the tax, which is huge for them because they need to now because they will not be able to duck the tax in the future. So shout out to them on that standpoint. The Suns, they traded Nick Richards to duck the tax this year.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. And they had the center play to do it. They got Cole Anthony, which it doesn't really matter for them with all the guards they already have there. But Philly, they traded Eric Gordon away, and they're going to now convert Dom Barlow, I think, to a guaranteed deal, or
Yeah, I saw that.
somebody else.
Good.
Yeah, somebody else is going to get a guaranteed deal for them. Raptors, they dumped Ochai Agbaji to duck the tax, which I guess is okay. It's fine. Yeah, anything here that's big significance for you?
No, I think this was a good deadline though. Really surprising, shocking. A lot of good players getting moved. Love my Wizards getting involved in a big way. Excited for the future. Excited to play some 2K with some of these teams now. I think a lot of teams were upgraded. A lot of teams playing for the future, and this was a really entertaining trade deadline. This was really entertaining.
Yeah, really, really good. Quickly, we'll give off who do we think the biggest winners of the deadline are? We'll have top 3 winners of the deadline.
I'll go Cavs, Thunders, Wizards.
Thunder, like it's literally
I
got to
hate
be
to
the
say
Thunder.
I hate to
Yeah,
do it. I hate to, but
it's
after
unfortunate,
my
but it's true.
botched explanation I was trying to give about Jared King earlier, yeah, I'll say Jared King being the
Wait, I
Thunder's.
don't. How have I forgotten this already? I guess it might have been an hour ago now,
Well, do
but
you remember I was like he was the best ad to take him up a level, and
oh
it
yeah,
made no
yeah.
sense.
It was exactly what they needed, is what you were
Yeah,
attempting to
yeah,
say. Yes. Yeah, Thunder, unfortunately, because all the other things that could have happened for them too also went right, with Utah increasing their chances of falling out of the pick range, and the Clippers being you know just blowing up their team, and now it's just an injury prone Kawhi Leonard and Garland having to hold the team up. Sounds great. Um, I think the Celtics are sneakily up there. They improved their team. They
yeah,
ducked the tax. Like, those were the two goals of the deadline for the Celtics, and like, yeah, I think the Celtics are a winner for me. And then I really like it for Indiana. Um,
yeah. Sneaky.
Very sneaky
Sneaky.
for Indiana, and for Utah a little bit too, because they got multiple second round picks thrown to them to take on salaries, and they got Jaren Jackson Jr. for picks that were excess for them. So I think all four of those teams did really good, and I think next week we're gonna do a little bit of a post deadline power rankings,
Ooh,
seeing
I
how
like
we
that.
feel about the team. We'll have about a week to watch these teams play. Do we want to throw out any losers?
Losers. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Like Detroit
The
did.
Mavs, maybe.
Oh yeah, Dallas was rough.
Like
We didn't
not
even
even
talk
the
about
AD aspect, but like also not getting off of Marshall, or not even getting
or
off of him, not
Gafford.
getting. Yeah, like you could have got huge things for that to like add to an already like pretty budding squad. Like you could have probably had draft capital plus a decent role player, or
Yeah.
which
Do you
is
think
all.
they traded AD too early? Would you have waited to have AD come back next year and rekindle value? Like, I think that's what they should have done.
Yeah, because like you basically traded him for two future first and some seconds. Because I mean, Middleton's not going to be there for much long. Um, I even saw he's a buyout candidate. Like,
Yeah. Which,
so
like, only a little bit of the league can even take advantage of. I
yeah,
guess Boston could get him on a buyout. Philly could get him on a. Like, there were a good bit of teams who could get him on a buyout, I guess. But any team over the first apron cannot get Chris Middleton on a buyout. So, I
yeah,
don't know.
I, yeah. I guess I would say Mavs and then maybe Bulls, but they got a lot of second round picks, so like, and I think that
Yeah.
really saved them. So I won't give them that as an L.
I would say their deadline was more weird than bad, but it's definitely a team that has accepted that this is not their year to make a play and push. So, yeah. Other than that, I'm pretty sure this is the last slide, unless I added something by accident. Okay, this is the last slide. We will, I think the 2K uploads will be starting next week. I've been procrastinating putting them out because we have, I'm trying to upload the old episodes in a condensed version
Yeah,
before
no
we upload
worries.
the new ones. So they'll be re-uploaded in a condensed version, and then the new episodes will be coming out. Um, so just keep an eye out for that. I'm not sure when it's gonna start, but other than that, unless you got anything, we're gonna wrap this one up, and we'll have our updated power rankings coming out pretty soon. So that'll do it for this one, and we'll see you later.